Hello everyone. Sorry for the delay, guys. My name is Venkataram Krishna and I'm from Byte Academy. So today we are going to learn about the integration of Django with React.js. So how we are going to integrate the React.js front-end library. Sorry for the delay, guys. With the my name is Venkataram Krishna and I'm from Byte Academy. Django backend today with REST framework. We are going to learn about the integration of Django with React.js. So how we are going to integrate the React.js front-end library with the my name is Venkataram Krishna and I'm from Byte Academy. Django backend today with yes. Let's wait for a while and just start our webinar. Yes, fine. We are back. So before going to the webinar, let me introduce you Nestria. So Nestria is a sister company of Byte Academy, and it is a portal for anyone like to find a new career or path to the technical jobs and lot more. Okay, so there are a few more resources. There are a lot of resources available to you to prepare for your dream jobs and to attend your interviews and crack the interviews. So be sure to follow us on Discord, and also the materials, the PPT, the source code, whichever I'm going to show you in this webinar, will be provided in a Discord community and for free. So please join the Discord community Nestria with the invitation link which has been given in the description. And also make sure before clicking the link, make sure you download the application. It is available in the mobile as well as laptops also. So you can download it, register yourself, and then click on the link. That will redirect you to the Nestria page. So from there, you can, after this webinar, I'll just go through the Nestria Discord community and I'll show you how you can access these materials and everything. Fine. So now let's get started with our webinar. So now, as I said, I'm going to explain you how we are going to integrate Django, the backend, with the React.js, the front end. So let's see. So first of all, so what are we learning today? As I said, we are going to create an React app, and which I have already created the React app, and I have just done some coding also, so that I can show you the working of the code. And at last, we are going to see the integration, because learning integration is the final motto for this webinar. So I just keep writing the code, and I'm showing the already existed code. Fine. So creating a basic app is the first thing we are going to see, and setting up the Django for that, and how to fetch the data. I mean, like we are storing some data in the database, and how we are going to fetch that data and display that to the user on the client side, which is developed by React. Okay, and the same thing, we are taking input from the user with the client interface, which was developed by React, and sending that to the database which was developed by Django. Okay, so this is what we are going to learn. And finally, the integration thing. So let's go. So let's begin. So I'm going to create a folder and install few packages. So these are the packages which we are going to install for the integration thing. So first installation is like pip. I'll just go redirect you to the. Yes, you can see I have created a folder Django underscore React. In there, in this particular folder, I have installed few packages. So these are the packages which I have installed. So pip install Django REST framework. So what is Django REST framework? REST framework, it is a framework like it is a toolkit to build our APIs so that we can communicate, which we can develop some backend sources and we can provide that API to that. And that to using that API, React.js can able to access the data and store the data. So for that purpose, we are installing Django REST framework in the backend Django. And one more thing also, we are going to install like pip install Django CORS headers. So here CORS means like cross origin resource sharing. So which allows API to access in any other domains. Like it is a security feature that allows web servers to control which domains are which origins are permitted to access these resources and everything. So that for that purpose, we are installing Django CORS headers. So we'll come to the React later. We'll just see what I have done here. So after installing those packages, I have created an app. I have started an app. So in that, I have created an backend app. So that I named it as Django backend. And the same thing, I have created a React app using npx create app, npx create React app, and I have created a front end. So here, I'll just open this folder in the VS Code. So these are the available, these are the installed apps and the packages in our folder. So these both comes under the Django. So this is the app name of the Django backend, and this is the front end which was created by React. Fine. So let's see what are I have done modifications. What are the code I have written in the files of like this. Let's see the Django backend. Let's see the folder. Let's see the file one by one. First of all, I would like to show you the models.py, where I have created, let's say, this one is enough. I have created this, but it's okay. It is not required. So we can see like I have created a class, which I named it as data and the models.model. And I have created two fields which are required, which we are going to store in the database. So student and branch are the two fields which are creating for the database. So in the models, if we are going to migrate the thing, then these two fold particular date in the database, there will be particular table which will be generated with this name as data, and those data table contains student and branch. For that purpose, we used to develop model. So I'm not going to explain all the backend and front end uh, files for you, because this is not the class for the Django and not the class for the React. This is the integration thing. So we'll focus more on integration. I'll just make you see all the code whichever I have written in the files. Okay. Let's see the serializers. So serializer means it is like, so simply serializer will make you like, here see class React serializer. I named it as serializer as React, and I just created a meta class over here, and I selected the model, and the model name is data, which this data. So we are selecting here the serializer, and we are making this fields whichever we want to display. Okay, till now it's clear, right? And now let's see what are the other folders. Yeah. Yes. And next are the views. So let's see the views. So here you can see. So I have created a view with the class. So class React view. And here I have created three functions which we are going to call using the API. So one is the get function. So where we'll get the data. It means like if we call this function using the API, then this function starts executing and calls the data which is in the database and takes the objects from there, and it will iterate through all the objects and give the output. So what happens here, whenever the user is wants something to be displayed on the screen, then he'll call the API, and that API will call this function, and this function will get the information whichever required by the user. So the same thing, we have defined the post thing. So whatever the user has been passed the data to the API, that API provide the data to this, and that will be stored through the serializer to the database. So this is how post works. And the delete, we are deleting all the objects simply from the database. We are calling the delete function by the API itself, the same thing. And here I have created the index. We'll come to this later. Okay. So these are the three files I have modified in this Django.backend, and in the URLs, this is the URL which we are going to call the API functions, like the views whichever we have discussed right now, like get, post, and delete. We are going to call using this particular URL, right? And I have written this path, one thing, and this is the second path. I'll discuss about this later. So now see the settings. So what are the required settings to be done for the API? So let's see. So important settings that to be modified in the settings.py file for the backend to get the API settings. So in the backend, first of all, in the installed apps, this is the name of the application, name of the Django app, and this is the REST underscore framework and the core setup. These three we have added to the installed apps. Okay, this is the first setting which we need to do. And in the middleware, we need to add course headers dot middleware dot course middleware dot middleware. So okay, this is the line which we need to add in the middleware, and these are the three lines which we also need to add to access all the functions which we are available in the REST framework. So from the REST framework the permissions, we are importing LONA, and we are creating a REST framework. This all should be written. There will be not available. It will not available by default in the settings.py. This we have to write it. So cross origin allow is equal to true. This thing also we have to write it. So these are the things which it is required to write to run the API. So let's see now about the front end. Let's see the front end. Here, front end is I have just created, instead of creating a separate component, I have just developed all the thing in the app.js itself. So our main purpose is to know how we are going to get the data and how we are going to store the data and the integration, right? So that's the purpose. I have written all the thing in the app.js. Fine. So here, this is the thing. I'll just run the thing. I just open the terminal. Yes. Now I am inside Django underscore React. So now I want to come to the folder where manage.py exists. So I'll just cd it backend. So now here the manage.py exists. So now I'll just run the backend. Python manage.py run server. So I have just run the server. This is the server provided by the Django to access backend. The settings dot, yeah. for I will just comment this. So this is making the error. Yeah, in the same in the views.py, I'll just comment this too. Later we can uncomment that and see what happens. Now it's showing like there are only two URLs, API and the admin. Now I'm going to write the admin here, API here, sorry. So this is the page which we can see for the backend purpose. Okay, so we are able to run the backend in this particular API. And now I'm going to run the front end in another terminal. I'm going to open another terminal. Here you can see this is the backend, and now I'm going to run the front end. So for that, I need to go inside the front end folder, backend. So I'm inside React folder now. So I'm just starting the React application. So this is the simple React application I have developed. So now we can write a you can write a name and branch of the student. Student's name, let's say student name is Venkat, and the branch is like mechanical, and click on submit. So that data is being stored inside that is being displayed. So what's happening here? Whatever the data, whichever provided by the user, is being stored in the database, and then that is being fetched to the React page. So how it's happening? It's all because of the app.js Axios. So Axios is like a tool. Okay, npm Axios. So here you can see this, right? So what's happening here? So Axios.post is calling the post function, whichever whichever uh, fetched by this particular API. This URL is being called, and in that post is being called. Here, what's there in the views function? So in the URL, we are calling this URL, right? API, and this whenever this URL is called, React view from the views is responded. So here in the views, React view is the this class is being called. So in that class, we are going to call this post. So this is how uh, the Axios helps to fetch the data from the Django, the backend. And now we are going to see how we are going to integrate the Django and React. So why we need to integrate the Django and React? So let's see here. Here you can able to see the Django page, which is running on the server 8000, right? So here we are running the React application in the server 3000. So, but whenever we want to deploy an application, deploy a website, uh, running on two servers is not recommended. Not as a, it is not at all useful to develop or run the website and application with the two servers. So what we will do here, we'll just integrate the React application with Django with some settings and with a method. So let's stop the React server. I'm just stopping the React server. Now I'm running a command npm run build. You need to space it. So this command, what this command does? So whatever the components, whatever the JavaScript, CSS, whatever the thing you wrote and you develop in the JS, React application, so that will be built to a single folder, and that folder will be created in our front end folder. Okay. So what we'll do now? Now I'm not starting this React server again. Okay, I'm just setting up some settings in the settings.py so that we can use this build.py folder to run with the Django. So what are the settings we need to do? Let's see that. So these are the settings which we need to write in the settings.py to access the folder whichever available in the build. Okay. So let's write it. So already the first thing we need to write is that here, write os dot path dot join base dir frontend / build. So what we are doing here, so we are directing the templates. It means like in the React. So this was deployed, right? So it is done. So in the build, there is index.html. So however, in the React application, we are going to call index.html to display the website to us, right? So in the same way, there is index.html in the build. So that we are calling using this path, and that we are setting in settings.py, which is available in Django backend. Okay, that one setting. And one more setting we need to do is like the static files. So this is the static files dir. This is the thing we need to write in the Django settings.py. So we have written these two things. Yes. And now let's see. So API is going to call the function. It means like it's going to call the class, whichever we can get the data, post the data, and delete the data, right? So now we want one more path to display the HTML page. For that purpose, I'm creating an empty path. I mean like empty path with the index. Index is inside the view. So I have created a different function index, and I'm rendering the page index.html. So now if we are directly calling the function, calling the URL without any extension over it, then that will call the index page, index view. So in the views, index is rendering the index.html, which was coming from build. It means the React application is being fetched from the views of Django using the URL. Let's see. See here, I'm not running the React page and I'm just closing it. This is Django. So Django also closed. Let's start the run server. So I'm running the server. Now here you can see that this is the earlier folders. 8000 was running the backend. I'm closing it. The React application which was running on 3000, now it's not running because I have closed the thing. I can close the host. Now you can see the React app is running on the link 8000. It means the Django server is able to run the React application without the server of the React. So this is how we can integrate the React application over Django. Okay. Yes. So I hope you understood what are the settings we are going to do in the thing, and all the source code, whichever the settings we are going to do and everything, I'll provide you in the Nestria channel. So please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and as well as click on the link and add to our channel Nestria. And thank you for attending this webinar. Make sure you copy this link or else the link available in the description and join a Nestria community for more